Hello and welcome to 115 for Jazz Piano Daily. Today is part 4 of our bassline work, creating our blues bassline. And let's take a look at what we got. So we ended on the B7, right? So here we're going to do root 5, root 5. Heard that before, right? We talked about that in the last one, right? And then where are we going? Then we're going up to the root of the B flat, and then the 5th of the B flat, root of the D flat, 5th of the D flat, root of the C minor, 5th of the C minor, root of the B7, 5th of the B7. See the pattern there? So root 5 is a perfectly fine bass line as well. And that's exactly what we're doing right here, right? So all of this is our root 5, root 5, root 5, root 5. Okay? So from the B7, whoops, sorry. Right? And it works especially well with this half-step motion here, guys. See? Get that nice half-step motion moving down like that from the D flat. So let's do it from the B7 again. Now, the other thing that I want you to note, or I want to point out to you, is that when we say root 5, remember that could be root 5th up that way, or root 5th down that way. Right? So the octave of where the 5th is can be higher or it can be lower. All right, so let's go through now the entire bass line. Let me make this a little bit smaller, okay, just so you can kind of basically see it. And here we go. 1, 2, here we go. That's your whole bass line right there. Okay? Now, we're going to start to add some improvisation to this bass line as well. We're going to do that a few lessons down the road, though, because I want you to take the time to really get this bass line down well. Here's the key to improvisation, especially when you're improvising solo piano. Okay? So now, playing this bass line, you would not play this bass line while playing along with a group. Okay? Don't worry, I'll talk about what you would do later if you're playing along with a group. You'd be comping chords in the left hand. So we'll have a track together with the bass line, when we get into the improv. When you're playing solo, like if I'm just deciding like, hey, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to play, I'm going to do a cocktail piano gig, I'm going to play for my family and friends, I want to play a B-flat blues, which is a cool thing to do. When I'm going to improvise, so when I'm going to improvise around it, I'm just kind of fooling around, making some mistakes in there or anything. And I keep that in there because I want you to see not all improvisation is perfect, right? I haven't really warmed up and really, warmed up for performing right now. I'm just playing around. It's okay, right? I know, you always get the comments, people like, ooh, that sucks, whatever. Yeah, whatever, fine. You can write all that. The point, though, is that when you're sitting down and improvising, you want it to just be free, flowing, just kind of playing around with it, all right? There's a difference between if you're going to improvise for a performance or if you're just playing around with it. We're just playing around right now. So I want you to feel comfortable that, you know, when you start to improvise, it doesn't have to be perfect every single time. It's okay to make mistakes. If you can't embrace that, you'll never be able to improvise, all right? You have to embrace the fact that you will make mistakes. Anyway, the point that I was making is that the left hand has to be solid. It has to be solid enough that, see, I might change the progression or whatnot, I keep the left hand going. If I start to improvise, and I mess up the left hand, right, it all falls apart. Left hand has to be steady. Now, in order for the left hand to be steady, it means you really have to know that bass line, and you really have to know it well. All right, so I want to give you a few days to really kind of practice that bass line and get it underneath your fingertips. You want to commit the bass line to memory. Now, there's a couple of different bass lines, right? Remember, we have the bass line from Jazz Piano Daily 103, 4, 5, right? So take a look at that one. And then there's also this bass line now. So you have two different bass lines that you could play around with. I suggest starting with the easier one, which is the one from 103, 4, and 5. Get that one down first, and we'll start improvising over that bass line first. All right, so anyway, that's it. I'll see you in the next lesson. To get the first 45 pages of music for free, just go back to jazzpianodaily.com. If you liked the video, please be sure to click the like button and also subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. To watch the rest of the lessons in this series, just click on the playlist to the right of this arrow. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.